Hi all, and a huge welcome to the Sketchbook tour, which is going to be a look through the pages of a recent sketchbook that I've just completed. And this is one of my portable daily sketchbooks that I use on a regular, pretty much daily basis to record all my sketching, my notes, my doodles. And this particular one has just been finished. I had 2 or 3 on the go at once, so I finished a couple at the same time. And this one began in autumn 2021. Now it started with some work from my Inspire membership group, and I've got some outlines and shapes of autumn foliage and some watercolour or tonal colour swatches. So I used this sketchbook for things like creative exercises as well as taking it out on location. So this one was a sort of quick acrylic landscape painting that I did whilst at RHS Wisley in Surrey, and it's just of some allotments, and it was just a very quick sketch using acrylics. I was sat on a bench doing some sketching. On the same day I also sketched some trees, so I did some watercolour and pencil studies. So this sketchbook very much contains a mixture of materials, and this one was a charcoal sketch done the same day. Another acrylic sketch done the same day. So you can see I did maybe 3 or 4 pages of sketches in one visit. I also like to use sketchbooks to make notes. So for me, there's nothing wrong with it having a mixture of completely painted pages and pencil notes on the next page. Here I created some framed borders and again did some acrylic studies. I was focusing on the theme of pink to work up to a slightly bigger painting that I did. I also love to try out my materials. One thing that I love to do is where I buy new materials, I like to test them all out and write them all down so I've got a reference for later on. Again, more notes, who knows. Here I cut up a paint palette, so where I was working with one of those tear-off paint palettes with acrylic paint, I actually cut it up into little squares and stuck it down. I think I might have had some plans to do something else here, but never did. Now I did a trip to the New Forest in January this year, and again I did a few little studies here in acrylic paint. Some more little studies and sketches, landscape, it's a cactus, and also some notes. This was a mind map all about the theme of spring, which was one of my Inspire membership themes this year. This was one of my doodling warm-ups in Inspire. This one was really fun. We did some windows, more sketches, loose sketches, and we did some work. I did some work this year on urban sketching, and so again these sketches were part of the work that I did when I filmed the tutorials in Inspire for the month. And here I just sort of sat in my local town in Woking, grabbed a pen and sketched the shops and the scenery that I could see. Here just sketching some cups and bowls and little things, little thumbnail sketches, great way to fill a sketchbook. More thumbnails, and then the beginnings of planning a sketch, but obviously never got there, which doesn't matter. Some sketches when I was out walking one day. This was actually at Winkworth Arboretum near Godalming. And again, and then my other half and daughter wanted me to sketch them in about 30 seconds. So we scribbled and had a little laugh at this one. I remember that. More sketches, Winkworth Arboretum. I think this was in Cornwall. My daughter took my sketchbook here and she sketched upside down in those 2 pages, and I quite like this. I quite like the fact that it's got some of my serious work, it's got some doodle sketches, notes, and then I've got this really happy sunshine page that falls somewhere in the middle. I went to visit the Barbara Hepworth Sculpture Gallery and Garden in April in Cornwall, and the sculptures are beautiful. I sat there sketching in pencil. This was in St Ives. This was Porthmuir Beach in St Ives. I really enjoyed that place. It was beautiful, beautiful. And from the beauty of Porthmuir Beach and St Ives to a donut. And you can see how my sketchbooks are very much, whenever I'm happy to be sketching that day, that month, whatever material, they're a real mixed bag. And that's what I love about these. Each page tells a story. And then my little girl asked me to draw some donuts and ice cream for her so she could colour in. So I did the drawing and she did some colouring in. Biscuits, notes, This was just a really loose drawing of my nasturtiums in my garden. A sketchbook warm-up, this is the 30 shapes. More explorations. I think these are my soft pastel pencils or chalk pencils. These are really lovely. This was back in Cornwall again, sketching some of the landscape and scenery. These ones here I actually did when I was in a boat. So as the boat was moving along, I had my sketchbook out, my pencil, and I had to sort of quickly record the landscape before we moved on to another viewpoint. So you can see that I used the sketchbook both in a portrait and in a landscape format. Did some sketching in Bath. And from the lights of the light lampshades of Bath to the florals again in the garden. This was at RHS Wisley, another trip there. They had a beautiful little orange tree that I sketched. Another sketchbook warm-up. This was actually from a workshop, a live workshop that I taught. We did a lot of stuff to do with drawing and sketching warm-ups, and so we did some blind contour drawing, which was super fun. Experimenting with a new pen that I had, a couple of new pencils that I bought, another tutorial. This is when I was sketching up in London at Great Art, and I was sketching some of the pencils that were up there that I was using. And I really got into sketching my pencils. In Inspire in November, we were sketching our art materials, or we are sketching our art materials. Some more blind contours of faces. I love doing this. This is so fun. Art materials again, in pen, in pencil, in pen, in paint. And I moved on here to do some sketches of some fruit, just some tonal studies, mainly black and white or a little bit of colour. I've got a couple of colour pencils that I'm playing with at the moment. I drew these when we were up in Cobham in Surrey. I was at a kid's birthday party, which happened to be in a beautiful countryside setting, and I took my sketchbook. So I take it with me everywhere, kids' parties, holidays, everything, it comes with me. And then most recently we have had the autumn. There's been pumpkins around, so I got some beautiful, lovely pumpkins, and I did some sketching of these. I also took some wonderful photos as well, exploring sort of tonal interpretation in a still life kind of way. I'm not sure what happened here, but I tore a bit out my sketchbook, but I thought I'm not going to waste this page, I'm going to use it. So we've got a few more materials, sketches. Again, just really loose stuff. This is a bit of ink and pen with a bit of colouring on the top, and a couple of pencils and pens just to finish the sketchbook. So the sketchbook has been going about a year. I sort of use it on a regular basis. I've been working through 2 sketchbooks at the same time recently, so it's quite nice to actually finish 2 at the same time because I've skipped from one to the other. So that is this sketchbook. This is one of my Moleskin sketchbooks, and it shows you a real mixture of all the things I get up to when I'm sketching on a regular basis. I hope that's interesting. Take care.